Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.
Bruce Arians here with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. During these difficult times, it's important that we all show we care about our community's health. You could spread COVID-19 without knowing it. Wear a mask, wash your hands, keep your distance from each other, stay strong, and go Bucs.
Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about. Things that I've dreamed about have actually come true.
And the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
Things have happened in my life as I kind of hoped they would happen. It's been, just a complete evolution. You know, how I just kept kind of fighting and clawing to continue to power forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep trying to make progress. So when I look at over 20 years, I look how far I've come. But there's not one step that I took where I realized, look how far I've come. But those series of steps that I put together, I go, wow, that's quite a journey.
You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television here live nightly on Bucs Report, and it is going to be nightly now. It is going to be Monday through Friday, 9 to midnight. We'll try to cut it down maybe 2 hours depending on response, but here's how it's going to work. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers strictly. We may mix in around the NFL, and then on those Tuesday and Thursday nights, because now we're a part of the Landry Football Network, LandryFootball.com, of course, being Chris Landry, we're going to talk around the NFL on those Tuesday and Thursdays. Now, that's not to say I'm going to get away from talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to try to mix in some stories and also mix in some national guests. Also, the premiere debut show, the Outkick Show, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock here live on Bucs Report, will be live with the Tampa Bay sports broadcasting legend, Mr. Outkick. We'll have him on tonight. 40 years of sports broadcasting experience, WTSP Channel 10, WFTS Channel 28. Of course, we'll have our newest writer here, Joshua Cole Allen, talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then, of course, Nick Citro, our analyst for Bucs Report. And then, of course, we'll have your phone calls, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Of course, it's the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook, of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter tonight, and eventually on Twitch, as we always start off the sports web. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. So without further ado, let's get him on here. The Tampa Bay sports broadcasting legend himself, debuting his show tomorrow night, the Outkick, at 8 o'clock on Bucs Report. Outkick, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited for tomorrow night. And now, where you will not be speaking as much about the Bucs on Tuesdays, we will. We will talk very much about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and have some big time guests, some fun guests, some different guests that no other show will have, quite honestly. And so it'll be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. Of course, gearing up for the regular season, and then when the regular season gets here, then we go full steam ahead, and we'll really have a bunch of fun on this show.
Absolutely. And the big time rumor last week, and I got to get your opinion on this because you were the first one that pointed it out. Of course, Bruce Arians shot it down in March with saying this player, that would be Mr. Big Chest himself, Antonio Brown, would not be a fit in the locker room. Although it comes out last week from Mike Lombardi and, of course, JT the Brick saying the Bucs would be interested in Brown. We talked to our good friend Chris Landry. He feels like Brown's people could be pushing this. I'm kind of thinking maybe Tom Brady's people are pushing it. What do you say to it?
Doesn't matter who's pushing it, because I'll tell you who's pushing against it. Okay. Bruce Arians. Let's not forget, Bruce Arians had Antonio Brown at the beginning of his career in Pittsburgh, and Arians was the offensive coordinator. If there's anyone that knows what Antonio Brown is like other than Gruden and maybe Bill Belichick, it is Bruce Arians. And he's made it very clear from the beginning, he has no interest in bringing Antonio Brown in here. So in order for him to even fit under the cap, they'd have to make some changes. Not only that, but, let's be honest here, you're going to have to deal with the suspension with Antonio Brown to start things off. So even if you sign him, you won't have him for the entire regular season. You will lose him for games because of suspension. And no matter how much people want to talk this up, unless there's something that comes out of left field, it just ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either here. I'll tell you why, because, again, it comes down to Coach Arians and his comments. And like you said, it's going to be the money, the suspension. And already the Bucs are kind of stacked. I mean, they're not kind of stacked. They're stacked. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, of course, O.J. Howard, Rob Gronkowski, and Cameron Brate. So really there is no need, although it was giving me some time to think about it, that maybe Tyler Johnson wouldn't necessarily be ready because of everything that's happened off the field with COVID. And then, of course, Scotty Miller with Brady working out with him. Maybe there's a possibility that he doesn't necessarily believe he has a third wide receiver. We shall see what happens. The other big story was not only down to 2 preseason games, but the NFL Players Association on Thursday night had a call. They had a recommendation for the league that they have no preseason. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, any effect on the teams? Of course, there's always an effect, but do you have a problem with not having no preseason in 2020?
I think it's the best possible thing for the Buccaneers because no one knows what to expect from Tom Brady. If there's anybody that can get ready for the regular season without a whole bunch of work, it would be Tom Brady, even with the new team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think it would be such a huge advantage to go into that game against New Orleans with absolutely nothing for the Saints to go to as far as Brady with this offense. I think it would be the best thing in the world for Tom Brady and the Tampa Buccaneers. So if it comes to that point, I, for one, like nothing more than to see no preseason games for the Buccaneers. And if there are preseason games, maybe one, very simple 3-and-out series, and that's it. So I don't see at this point, with just trying to get a season in, and as each day passes, it appears it's going to be more difficult and more difficult to do whatever you can to get that regular season in, because once the regular season in, then you can start working on the playoffs. And of course, the Super Bowl is here, and that is the big prize for this coming season.
Yeah, it really is. And I kind of wonder how it would affect. Everybody says, look, the preseason's not a big deal, but, with everything that's going on off the field, possibly workouts not necessarily starting on time, we don't know yet because, again, July 28th is, a couple of weeks away. So hopefully it does start on time. But I just don't know. I feel like you should get as many reps as possible. But, of course, what it comes down to is the health and safety of the players. And you don't want to have so many players test positive. Then you basically push back the season. So I can understand to a certain degree why the players don't want to have any preseason, because we really don't know how this is going to work out.
Well, the whole thing is such a big if right now. I mean, look what baseball went through today, just today, and with two teams that have been tested, still not be able to get those players on the practice field today because they hadn't gotten the results back on those tests. So, how can that happen when, they have set up a certain protocol for these tests, and when these guys are checked out and when they're retested? So, baseball is just kind of trip, stumble, fumble as they're trying to get things going. The NFL will do whatever it can to look at what baseball, the NBA, and the NHL, and even Major League Soccer, what they're going through, and try to improve on that. Here's something I was thinking today, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I will guarantee you that the National Football League has at least thought about this. And in a worst case scenario, okay, let's just throw that out there, or throw this out there. What is the one thing you hear every single year about the National Football League and possibly putting a franchise there? Where would that be?
London.
It would be Europe. It would be Europe.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, right.
Right now, the Premier League, the big league in Germany, the Italian league, every major soccer league in Europe going strong with absolutely no problems. So, just for the sake of argument, could it happen that come fall, if things are so bad here, and maybe a second wave, or maybe the first wave still hasn't even started to settle down, or whatever, would the National Football League consider, you want a bubble? How about a bubble on steroids, where everything else right now, cases are way down. You don't have to be in a bubble. If you just moved your operation, and if you put NFL franchises in all the NFL Europe cities, there's, I can't remember, 8 or 10 or whatever it is. But, in London, there are at least 3 major soccer stadiums that you could play games in. You've got all kinds of facilities where people could certainly practice during the week. And you do the same thing in Germany. Amsterdam was huge for football. You could go, I think Spain is having a little bit of problems, but not that bad. Maybe by summer it's cleaned up. But bottom line, you could go throughout Europe and put franchises there. And by fall, even though right now soccer teams are not playing crowds, chances are by that time in the fall in Europe, you could probably put people in the stands. So they're always looking to build their game, to grow their game, to get a worldwide audience for their game. what would happen if you made that decision if you couldn't play here as a last-ditch effort to get the season in to go over to Europe? I mean, if the NBA can move down to Orlando, if, the NHL can go to Canada and play in 2 pod cities, why couldn't the NFL, with everything that it is and everything it wants to be, why not seriously do that? Just a thought. And it may be something. And I know, I can imagine, everyone's going to start typing in all the bad things that can happen on messages. But just think about it. Think about what the ratings would be here. They could fill a stadium in a safe way. They may be quarantined, or they may be in a bubble, but really in a place to where the bubble isn't that dangerous, and you're growing your game worldwide. So, just a thought.
Definitely just a thought here on the Sports Web. We got Tampa Bay sports broadcasting legend, Mr. Al Keck, on the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. The other item, and then we'll go out to the web heads because I want to definitely get to them tonight and hear what they have to say. But, asking fans last week, the NFL could be exploring the possibility of putting out a waiver where fans would have to sign in order to attend games. First and foremost, do you think this could legitimately happen? And second, if you're a fan of a football team, would you be signing a waiver with knowing what you know with COVID going on?
Well, if I decide to go to a football game, and I've paid money to go to that football game, and I get it, I'm not going to blame the NFL team because I bought tickets and went to that game. Although I'm sure that there are people out there that would try to do exactly that. That's one of the reasons why they would have you sign a waiver. We're all in brand new territory right now. And I know that NFL teams are sending season ticket holders, their options on what they can do with tickets this year. So, as season ticket holders have some big decisions to think about and make decisions from there. So, I think it's beginning to look more and more where if the season opens here anywhere close to being on time, it won't be with fans, and that it'll be empty stadiums, and it'll just be incredible television games with incredible ratings, and the NFL will come up with other ways of making up some of that revenue that they'll be losing without a live crowd. So, but that's just the way it is right now. I do believe that the NFL will come out of this because they've got more time to prepare than anybody else. And also they just seem to be smarter at this. I think they'll come out of this better than any other, better than baseball, better than the NBA and hockey and Major League Soccer.
All right, let's go out to the web heads here. I want to be Patty Mahomes for a week, says Matt Colson. I think everybody does. We'll get to that big-time story. Bring your passion. Let's go, Bucs. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Laugh out loud, me too. Ron says, I think we need to sign Tom for 4 years since there will be no season, and instead I think we need to sign Tom for a year since there will be no season, and instead of leaving 1 full year on his contract, we have at least 3 remaining. Ha ha. Angie says this is giving me chills. That's what we try to do here on Sports Web with that intro. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Best Virtual Edits video. Hey, Chiefs can't have Chris Jones now. We'll get to that in a moment. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense, says Ron. I bet money the Jaguars will get him for Yannick. Okay. We got Mr. Joshua Allen Cole in the house, or Joshua Cole Allen, excuse me. Yaj, the legend, Mr. Al Keck. What's up, guys? Big Al. Welcome to the show. First, Mr. Al Keck, let's get the season started. I'm ready to start the season now. Yeah, really. What's up, everyone? Says Johnny Dean. What's going on? Johnny Dean says, don't miss out on BR content. Subscribe to the Bucs Report YouTube channel. Follow and share for the upcoming YouTube exclusive content coming soon. So definitely be a part of that. Barcelona was the most popular team. Alkek is the man, says Best Nurse. Somebody tell Al to stop starting rumors. No NFL Europe 2.0. Please play in the States and empty houses. But once again, look, they canceled all the games in Europe this year. But if you look at all the charts, basically over there, they're doing much better than we're doing over here. I mean, just putting it out there.
It's not even close. And they're able to do whatever they want to right now because they're ahead of this a lot faster than we were. And now they're seeing the benefits of that. And so I'm just thinking, we're the National Football League is supposed to open up here in 3 weeks, as far as training camp's concerned. So already we're hearing talk. They've already taken preseason and taken it from four games to 2. Now it looks like it's going to go from 2 to none. So, there are a whole lot of questions out there. Nobody has any idea what's going to happen. And it's always going to be, right now, it's going to be a case of coming up with very unique ideas to get this season in. And if it means not having a season or playing the games someplace else in the NFL version of a bubble, guess which way they're going to go. The National Football League will play a season. One way or another, they will play a season.
I agree. I hope so, because I think everybody needs football at this point, honestly. Let's see here. Europe is far more ready for the NFL league now that they were then, says Johnny Dean. I can adjust to the time difference. Football for breakfast. We've done that before. That didn't necessarily work out so well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ever in London, especially this year against Carolina. The breakfast was good at Ferg's, but the game, not so much. No, guys, have families. Nobody's trying to be stuck in Europe. It's really not that serious. Well, it kind of is serious, Mike. Matt Colson, tape delay. Europe isn't a bad idea. Never going to happen, says David. Look, it's 2020. Anything's possible, right? I mean, Tom Brady to the Bucs, Rob Gronkowski to the Bucs, Kanye West running for presidency at this point. You're under a pandemic. Yes. You've got killer hornets. I mean, what else could happen? Honestly, you've got a brain eating amoeba out there. Anything's possible. When somebody says no, it's never going to happen, I say anything is possible in 2020, right?
Yep.
Yes. All right. That's how I grew up watching the NBA games. John Havlicek and the Celtics competing against Johnny Carson. It is irony or great planning by Peter that the game behind him is the Chiefs and Mahomes assigning a $450 million contract. Well, that's NFL Network, so thank them. But yes, I did have some. I had highlights in the back. I mean, I feel like this is so cool to have that in the background instead of just the still of the BR. $500 million he can earn. $503 million. Real talk with Al Keck. Ron says, sorry, Josh. Had it backwards. Let's see here. Johnny Dean. Ron says, why is Europe not having any of those issues? Well, I think it's pretty easy why they're not having any issues, right? I mean, go ahead and you explain it to them, Al, why they're not having the issues.
Really? Okay, I'll say it very simply. They're not as dumb as other people I know. They got on it right away. Testing, they started to do immediately, and they jumped on it immediately. And those people aren't afraid to wear masks. So they really controlled the virus and the spread, and now they're starting to feel the good parts about all of that, in that they have things under control as opposed to other places very close to us.
All right, we got somebody on the line here who definitely wants to congratulate you on your new show tomorrow night. Let's go out to the dude. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television here on the Sports Club. What's up, dude?
Let me just say, broadcast legend. We won't say the years because I know how he loves that part, but let's just say Al Keck, his own show live on Bucs Report starting tomorrow night. Thank you very much, sir. We welcome you to the family. We appreciate everything you've done over the past, it seems like almost 2 years now. But I want to reiterate what Al just said. Hey, everybody. We know that this pandemic has been politicized. We understand that there's so much misinformation out there that you don't know which four-letter network to believe and what they're reporting. So I think Al brought up a good point. Why are the other countries so far ahead? I'll tell you why. It's lack of self-entitlement. It's lack of pride overriding one's ability to care about his common man. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you believe Dr. Fauci. I don't care if you believe the person sitting in the Oval Office. But I will point out to you this. The people dying, that's not a fake news. The amount of cases, that's not fake news. It's verified. It's happening. Wear a mask, social distance, and do it out of respect. You want to consider yourself the greatest country in the nation, and you can't even put on a mask when you go to Target to go buy underwear, for crying out loud. Anyway, I don't want to drag it all the way down. Al, we appreciate everything. Tomorrow, we're not going to give away any of his guest lists coming up in the future, but let's just say Al Keck is going to go 100% Al Keck on everybody starting tomorrow, 8 o'clock on Bucs Report. Big shout out to LandryFootball.com. Al, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And just one thing on the masks. I know every time I go to the doctor or I go to the dentist, one of the first things I see when my doctor or dentist walks in, what he's doing is he's wearing a mask, or she's wearing a mask, or whatever, especially if I have symptoms of a cough or a cold or something like that. So, case, I think they know a little more than I do whether or not I should be wearing a mask right now if I'm out in public. And again, as the dude says, it's a matter of respect for other people out there. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, I don't think so either. And look, if it comes down to wearing a mask, whether you're right or wrong, at the end of the day, what's it really going to do? It's going to prevent, the spread. It's going to not only, take care of yourself, but take care of the people around you. It's called, being, just being nice at that point. I think we need a little bit more of that in our society here on the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the Tampa Bay sports broadcasting legend, Mr. Al Keck. Open phone line. Let's open it up here, Al. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Would you sign a waiver to go to a game? The Tennessee Titans right now are giving their fans an opt-out for tickets in 2020. Also, the installments with their payments, they're also basically letting that go. So would you opt out of your tickets? Tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines. An old co-host from a galaxy far, far away, Mr. Sean the Sports Sean. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're on with yours truly, along with the Tampa Bay sports broadcasting legend, Mr. Al Keck. What's on your mind, boss? Doing good, buddy. How you doing? Well, what do you think about that? I mean, big time contract, $503 million, Al. I mean, it's 10 years, 10-year contract added on to already the 2 years. It's $50.3 million a year here, Sean and Al. And he definitely deserves it. I mean, 3 years in the league, already a Super Bowl MVP, already a league MVP. What do you think about it, Sean? What do you think here, Al? I mean, can they continue to be elite around him with that contract? I mean, we already talk about Chris Jones. I think Sean's got a great point. When these teams sign these big time contract deals with quarterbacks, usually they lose somebody, and it looks like they may lose a Chris Jones. But Al, you had to sign Patrick Mahomes with the year he had last year, the year before with the 50 touchdowns, and of course being a Super Bowl MVP at 24 years old.
Well, let's remember that Mahomes still has to go with the last 2 years of his rookie contract. So this new contract, the 10-year deal, won't kick in until after those 2 years. So even though he's getting a $10 million signing bonus, there are ways under the cap rules that you can work that around. Now, what they're doing with this, by doing this now, they now can free up other money to go after free agents. So this is one of the best things that could have happened to Kansas City as far as working on their cap. Here's the other thing: it's after these next 2 years, it's a 10-year deal, but contracts are made to be adjusted. And believe every time they come up close to that cap, they're going to go to Patrick Mahomes and rework his deal. And so it'll just be perpetual, and as long as Patrick Mahomes wants to be there, he will be there, and he will make an average of between $45 and $50 million a year. So that's the beauty of this, and that's the reason why you sign this now. And then after a couple of years, when they do end up signing a new TV contract, when some of these TV contracts are up, there'll be even more cap money there. So it's a good time for the Chiefs to work this out right now. That's why they're doing this in the middle of a pandemic. It just gives them more options. And on the outside, it looks like that Patrick Mahomes is going to be making $50 million a year from here on. That won't be the case for these next 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing, Sean, and thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate it, buddy. Definitely call back here. Here's the thing with the whole call, Al, is the fact that basically, those quarterbacks that sign those contracts are not living up. They're living up to them, but they're not honoring those contracts for the full 10 years. So usually they're out of there. Mahomes definitely has the opportunity to honor this contract for a long time because he's so young.
Well, and again, none of these other deals are for 10 years. It's for a shorter amount of time. But what the Chiefs did, they went to him and said, listen, we'll work with you here for 10 years. You will get between, 450 and $500 million. So now you are set long term, and you're giving us 10 years. And that is a great way for the Chiefs, to be able to adjust his contract at times when they need to do that for the cap.
I tell you what, we're having a little tech issues right now. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi. So what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to end the show. We're going to come back, and we're going to see if we can get this straight. All right? Stand by. the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense.